All right, so this is recorded on one of the individuals who killed Constable Kimar Francis, and his name is Shevaughn Bunwaist Johnson. And yeah, he when you read his dossier, he's just basically described as a typical 87, or I mean, like we're this stone cold killer that drove fear into hearts of a lot of residents. So, and this is one that got taken up by the police. So, all right, so here we go. So, before his death, not many residents would openly speak of 28-year-old Shevaughn Bunwaist Johnson, but since his demise, they recall it as early as his teenage years. His evil tendencies were exhibited. All right, and as such, according to those with knowledge of the incident last Friday, in which Constable Kimar Francis, 27, was killed, there was not much hope for the unsuspecting lawman and his sole partner to defend themselves, having to respond to a call of loud music in the face of known cruelty. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, the Kimar Francis recording, which I haven't released as yet. I was trying to release it last night, but internet problems. But let's continue. So Johnson was cut down by the said police near hours after celebrating his 28th birthday, and months after, in part, the alleged group shot and killed Constable Francis. And yeah, they're going to say that Bunwaist was basically a mustache twirling cartoonish villain. And I'm not saying it is a joke though. And I will describe some of the stuff that he was accused of doing. Alright, and because what has happened is that Bunwaist was celebrating his birthday, and police are called because I think they violated curfew and the noise issue. And then this Bunwaist basically said, I am above law and order, and I'm not about to have my party being ruined by these damn police. So yeah, I'm just gonna send these police off the mortal coil. Yeah, so and so on. Now let's go on to say that investigators said Johnson was known to police for his influence within the Spade Corner gang. The Gleaner understand that he's been fingered in several killings, which is not surprisingly like a lot of these criminals, these 87s and so on, as is the better term to call them. Yeah, they've been linked to killings, but because of the fear factor, people were hesitant to give information to the police. All right, so let's just read on. Yeah, and so I basically said that he was so evil that he think even his own family feared him. All right, I'm not even going to go read. Basically, the thing is that the killing of Bunwaist, basically a lot of people in that community are pretty much glad that he's back in hell with the other demons. Now the thing I want to speculate is that I'm willing to bet that Bunwaist, like a lot of these gunmen and whatever, I'm willing to bet that he grew up in an environment where he was not shown love or discipline, or didn't have the proper guidance. Because, like a lot of these young men who get involved in this kind of stuff, it just shows that I always deal with the root cause of the problem. Now, bear in mind, this is not me saying that trying to sympathize with someone like this, because yeah, this guy sounded like he was sounded like he is a lost cause. But the thing to bear in mind is that when I do stuff like this, I always focus on what creates people like this, though. And I'm willing to bet that he did not grow up in an environment where he was taught love and respect and so on. Because if I'm pretty sure if those factors were there, all right, that probably he wouldn't be have taken the path he did. All right, just like a lot of these criminals who do this stuff, that they're I always look at how these guys are type of people are created, because he don't say much about his family life. Yeah, he said yeah he was a terror to his family, but I'm just looking at how he was raised. I'm willing to bet that his parents probably failed him, or his community probably failed him as a child. And the thing is, what I always speculate, it's not really so much that he was feared. I mean, yeah, there are people who feared him, but let's just say, I'm pretty willing to bet that there are people who I won't say looked up to him, but protected him and probably revered him, despite him having his criminal tendencies. And many of these people ran cover for him and protected him from law enforcement. Because that's what like the common occurrence is, that a lot of these criminals in these areas, is not so much fear why these people are around or and so on. These guys are protected by various individuals in these communities. These people see them as heroes, or People not so much are probably upstanding citizens. I mean, as they're not harming them personally, and so on. And I'm willing to bet that there are going to be people blocking the road and saying that Bunwaist was a paragon of virtue, that he helped old women across the street, that he was on the verge of curing cancer, and that he wanted world peace. Look for that type of crowd to say that this guy was a exemplary citizen that was unfairly killed, and so on. I'm willing to bet that though, but this is why I do stuff like this. I don't do this because I sympathize or condone what these guys do, but I do think that a common factor is that how these people are raised, how these people are protected and nurtured, and I'm willing to bet that I'm not one part of the people who believe that, oh, these people are so afraid of people like this that they're afraid to go to law enforcement. There is a contingency of people that probably admired and probably were cool with people like this. Just like with Precky Boy, just like with a Dog Paw and a lot of these other criminals. And yeah, I would also want to bet though, and this is not me going to my tinfoil hat type mode, but I'm willing to bet that this guy, like a lot of criminals, had ties to certain MPs or some people in prominence who probably knew what this guy was capable of when used them for their to carry out various apps and so on. Cause like I said, this notion that oh these guy was so powerful that he's able to kill and murder that many people, that he was this unnatural terror that no one could touch. Yeah, that's bullshit. There are people who knew what this kind of guy was and probably even helped to create what this man turned out to be. And that's what I have to say about though. All right, but all I can say is that with this guy, yeah, wasn't obviously a piece of work, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm willing to bet there's more to be told about what created someone like this, and that's the angle I always do when I do stories on people like this. Though, is that I'm not just looking at them as these cartoonish villains that with no backstory death, but I'm willing to bet there's more of a story what created Shevaughn Bunwaist Johnson, and there's a common factor with a lot of people like him, though. And yeah, and for those who are probably going to try and say that, oh, this guy was again pure as a wind-driven snow, miss me on that, but I do believe there's just much more to what created this type of person, and this is how we have to approach individuals like this. Is like, how did this guy grow up? How many grew up? What was his childhood like? What led him to be this person? So we can prevent the next bun waste. All right, so that's pretty much what I want to say. But there's much more to this type of person than that's been told, because unless this guy's a demon seed that he just came out to the womb with horns, a pitchfork, horns on his head, and a pitchfork in his hand, and a pointy tail in his rear end. There's something that created this guy that led him to the path he did, and love to hear more stuff. And I'd love to get more answers to that, because we have to, in order to deal with crime, though, we have to analyze and see what creates individuals like this. So this is for State of Jamaica and the Caribbean. Check out my YouTube pages, Miles Gussenfern, Miles Productions, and Real Thoughts and Miles. Okay.